Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton. Welcome on this beautiful Sunday day. We're going to be doing some fun things today and making some homemade ravioli. So I'm excited to be able to share that with you as we're learning about different things from gardening to making pastas, breads, raising chickens, right? We're doing a lot of fun things. So I'm excited that you guys are here with me today. And oh boy, Friday was a really heavy hitter one for me. So if you guys want to find out about, things about saving our children, what they're kind of going through, Friday was a big show for me per se, because it was just really hard for me to get through that one. So I'm really happy to be here today to show you different kind of solutions, what you could do. Um, I'm always pleased to bring you information and everything I can to do to help save our children. But I also love having my Sunday show. So a huge shout out to our producer, Scott and Amanda. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to have two shows with you. Friday nights at 7 p.m. and then also Sundays. I split those up so that we could actually do fun things together and learn great things, different things. So I felt like, I didn't have time to bring guests and do these projects with you. So we are lucky to have both days. So thank you so much, Scott and Amanda, for giving me this platform and helping me be part of a wonderful family. So before we get started, make sure everybody, like, follow, share, because we could really use that. It helps our platform build so that we get our voice out more. We are on Twitter and Odyssey and D Live, Facebook. Hello, everyone. We are also on Rumble. So I am excited. Everybody, if you have any questions, I will check them periodically throughout the show and see what you have to say. And thank you and welcome. All right. I love to start my show with the most beautiful thing. I love prayers and scriptures. So let's start with that. Let's get that loaded up. This is my favorite. Everybody knows this. Absolutely my favorite little prayer. This little boy is absolutely phenomenal. Things will load up for us this morning. Give it a second. All right. See if you go in slow. Everyone, sorry. I'm trying to load it up. There we go. I don't know what's going on with the internet, why it's so slow. There it is. All right. Let's get this to the thing. Amen. That is really the most beautiful thing when I hear children pray. I just absolutely love it. And that little boy just rocks our world. I hope his parents probably know how famous that little prayer is. It's just beautifully done. And out of the mouths of children, right? I also have a special song also with children to finish up our show today. One of my favorites, and I might say that a lot, but I just love when children are involved. Their voices are just so beautiful and so happy to hear on a Sunday. So let's get to some scriptures. I always like to share some scriptures with you. They're already posted underneath the Rumble links if you guys want to have those today. Let's get those up. All right. And we'll share that one. Add it to our stream. Hold on one second. All right. There we go. I love this. It's classy. I'm always probably saying it wrong. 9:7. Ecclesiastes. There we go. 9:7. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart. For God now accepteth thy words. All right. Let's get to the next one. Sorry, it gives me a second just as I can get these up. Let's see. But that was just going to be my word of the day. My students laugh at that too, that I have like a word of the day that I just, like the whole day I can't say it. All right, good morning, everyone. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do all to the glory of God. I really love that one. All right. And the last one that I'm going to share with you today is Psalms. All right. Add that one so you can see this one too. Scriptures are in the links below. One is going to be Psalms 136, 136:25. He gives food to every creature. He loveth, endures forever. And I really like that one. That was really great. Sorry, everyone. He giveth food to every creature. His love endures forever. I thought that was really beautiful. So some wonderful scriptures about food. I try to always do that so that we have a little pairing between them. And, it just kind of, hey, since we're cooking food today, why not have scriptures about food? All right, everyone. So we are making ravioli today. So before we get started, if you want to help support our show, right, and our producer's platform, our platform here, I would absolutely love that. And you guys, I love honey. I've said this before. I do not have sugar in my house. I use honey for everything. So I'm going to show you. Look at this. I just go through so much. This is Be Nourished, right? This is their turmeric honey. This is their dragon fruit honey. Oh my gosh, these are just so good. And I really do love this. I'm just trying to save it as much as I possibly can because look at this gorgeous color. Oh, gorgeous color. Love the raw honey too. And we used that last time as well. So, from what our producer says, in Maui, there is this beautiful strip of wonderful tropical flowers. This is just natural, absolutely pure. Some of the best honey I've ever had in my life. And I have been from South Africa to Australia. I have been to Ethiopia. I have been to United Kingdom. I have been to Mexico, Canada, you name it. I've been around the world. And I'm telling you, this is just some of the best, if not the best honey I've ever tasted. And just amazing. And when it says that it's a healing product, I've actually used it to cure. One of the shows we did before, a few back, I made some actual medicine that helped my dog. I call it medicine, but just actual natural stuff to help her with her gut. And I used the turmeric honey in it. Oh my gosh, that was just so amazing. And when I have the turmeric honey, and that's probably why it's so gone. Turmeric's so good for inflammation in your body. And that was one thing that I really struggled with. I cannot eat food that's processed at all anymore. I can't even go to a restaurant, with food that's processed anymore. So it's a really hard thing for me. Luckily, I was a chef for a long time and I can cook all the time. But, right, my body just doesn't do well with that. And I get inflammation really bad. I was really sick. I was in a wheelchair for almost a year until I completely went organic. And I mean organic, like local food, organic, gardening. This is why gardening is so important to me. And eating this wonderful God-created food without any pesticides or things we can't pronounce. And as soon as I was able to move to an area, thank you, God, to move me to an area with local people all around me doing this, I mean, in a matter of weeks, I was up just not really up walking, but I was starting to feel again in my legs. The jaundice was going away from my body. Having, this ability to just eat God's natural foods. And about a year later, I was walking, exercising, because I'll tell you, the doctor's plans for me, even though all my medical tests were coming back great, the doctor's plans for me were just to sit, don't exercise, and take all this medication. And I was dying. And so my husband, being a wonderful nurse that he is, said, you know what, let's just change some stuff for you. And like I said, God really helped out with that and moved us to a location that I'm able to eat local foods and grow my own foods. And that is really great for me. I'm very, very happy. So That's why I'm saying how important it is for things like honey and turmeric, and we did that thing with cranberries and just everything that you can get. Try to make it from scratch. So today we're making something you might think that you can't even do. You're like, oh my gosh, can I make pasta? And how fast is this going to take? And really, the longest part about making the pasta is that you've got to let the dough just sit for an hour and rest. Other than that, it takes roughly, I would say, about half an hour to make this. So very easy to do for a family meal at night. And we're going to get to that. But okay, Be Nourished. Thank you so much, Be Nourished, because this is amazing, amazing honey. I am so thrilled to use it. I'm so thrilled to promote it. And I hope that you guys can help us out because you get 22% off when you go and order it online. So thank you so much, Be Nourished, for the discount code also. This is some of the most amazing honey. So if you guys can help us out, that would be great. So let me introduce you to Be Nourished.
Honey. It's one of the greatest gifts to man. With millions of wildflowers in every bottle, the nourishing power of honey is still yet to be fully discovered. Be Nourished healing products combines healing ingredients from around the planet to the purest honey from the island of Maui to bring magic to your taste buds. The best honey from the most beautiful place to nourish your body, mind, and soul. From our hearts to yours, Be Nourished.
All right. Another great way to support us and our media outlet is I would say, man, somebody buy our producer a coffee, right? And you can go to buymeacoffee/ScottAdam and help us out that way as well too. So if you ever see me in the chat, I also might say in a different show, I might say, hey, somebody buy our producer a coffee. Please do so. And send some thanks because he is really giving a lot of platforms out. We have a show every single day this week now with two beautiful new guest hosts. I shouldn't say guests. There are two new hosts, right? But Bernie Flowers is on Tuesday and Tamara is on Thursday. And it's so exciting to have just these lineups. So please make sure that you check out Liberty Media Arise and watch our shows. Help us out. Give us a like, follow, and share. I appreciate that. On another note, if you really want to help out some youth, they could really use that. Or if you need or know a family, or if you are a family that's looking for something that you can do in your home and have an accredited school, that we actually have live lessons, just like what we're doing here. What you're going to see me doing is something I do with my students all the time in culinary class. And not always, sometimes in health too, we're cooking, but we actually have culinary class running this year. So, except we're on Zoom and I can see what they're doing as well too. And we all are unmuted, we're talking, we're miking. We're unmuted, so our mics are live, and I get to see what they're doing. They can follow me along. So this is what I mean about live instruction. It's just like, what I'm doing right now, except I'm doing it with students. So we are very much a project-based school, accredited. Super excited about that, and nationwide. We're just happen to be online so that everyone in our nation, if you're unhappy with the situation you're at, you can come to HamiltonLiberty Academy. We'd love to have you. So our students in journalism made some commercials. There's only a few that I can share because of certain platforms they've made them on. I can't upload them this way. But one of our favorites, we had an artist on that did, she's an intern for Vanessa Buena, that's a speed artist. So I was really excited because the student created this commercial in the same moment and did the speed drawing, and it's just phenomenal. So let's share that with you. You can always donate there as well, even if you don't have students, because this helps our students get things like microscopes, art supplies, even towards their tuition. You can put a scholarship in your name. You can buy art from Lady Hamilton Art that goes 100% to our students as well. We are a nonprofit, so you always get those tax write-offs as well. It's very proud, so you could always go and check them out. So let me introduce you to HamiltonLiberty Academy. Isn't that the most beautiful drawing? So proud of her. I mean, we've got some kids that just rock. And we do all kinds of art forms, from obviously cooking and painting and drawing and digital arts and advertising. I mean, we're just all over the place when we say arts. Color theory for math. I mean, it is great. Sculpture, dance, music, it's just a lot of fun. So please check us out. If you have any questions, you guys just reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer those and get back to you. But today we are cooking. So it's exciting to do this and bring this to you. Again, we're making ravioli. I have my camera set up. I posted the ingredients underneath our Rumble chat today. Um, so the pasta itself is way more exact if you're going to follow the recipe. But when we get to the cheese filling, we're going to talk about how you can add different things. You don't have to be so exact with that. Maybe you don't want one cheese over the other. But that you can play around with the fillings. But with the pasta, you want to be pretty exact with that recipe. Okay, and that's in our Rumble chat. So everyone go over to Rumble if you want to find the recipe in the links today. I appreciate that. And while you're there, make sure to hit your like, follow, and share. That really would be great. And please do so on all of our platforms. I'm excited that we're on so many. So what a wonderful day. All right, I'm going to change cameras. So you guys won't see me, but you'll hear me. And we're going to get started with this. I'm going to go over the tools and everything that you're going to need. So give me a minute to change those settings so that you can see. Voila! You should be able to see the table here. Let me move my chair back, everybody. Sorry. Okay, so I'm right here. You should be able to see my hands. Again, I am not Emerald, and I don't have 500 cameras. I just have a few, so hopefully you can see this. Again, always reach out, leave some comments. I go back and I check the comments, and I'll reply to them, and I'll do whatever I can to make sure I answer those as well. So hopefully everybody can see. All right, so what we're going to need is 2 cups of flour. I have about 1/4 cup of olive oil here. I have more water than we need because we're going to use this later, and you'll see why, but you'll just need a couple tablespoons of water. You'll need some salt and also 2 eggs. Okay? All right. Now, the first thing I like to do, you don't have to do this. This is my preference. I just like to make sure that I sift my flour, even though my flour is from a local mill. There's just something about making sure, sorry everyone, this cup really did have 2 cups in it. But there's just something about having sifted flour, just making sure if there's any kind of weird particles or something in it. I don't know. I mean, if you're buying flour from the local store, I highly suggest that you put it through a sifter. Because, I'm telling you, they used to tell me, too, for the longest time, I was gluten intolerant. And so I did not eat gluten for years, almost a decade. And when I found out, especially during COVID 2020, I really found out that the flour was changing even. And I was like, why is this not working? Because I like to make bread and stuff for neighbors and things like that. And it wouldn't hold together. It was coming out really, really weird. I called King Arthur, and they're like, oh, we had to change the recipe because so many people are buying flour, and we all still have COVID, so they weren't growing really any wheat. I was like, change the recipe. And so I don't know what they're adding to the flour, but my body was not handling it. When I went local and found a mill and tried it again, I couldn't believe that I could eat flour again. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just telling you how organic, local grown food without these chemicals and pesticides just really changed my whole life. So, all right, 2 cups of flour on the table. Now, I love these kind of just regular things. We're going to use stuff because you could buy all kinds of like ravioli mats, ravioli, cutters and things like that. But I'm just going to show you how to do this with the most simplest of tools. You don't need to go out and buy things. So I just take my measuring cup, and I'm literally just going to make this what we call a well. It's just kind of making a little hole in the middle. Hopefully everybody can see that. Maybe not. I'm going to kind of scoot this a little bit forward. Sorry, everybody. So you can kind of see that a little closer. So you can see that there's a well, right? My cup fits in there. and made a well. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually add our ingredients right to the middle of that. So we're going to start with our eggs. 2 eggs. Put them right in there. And those eggshells can go right into your compost. Remember, I showed you about compost, and I always have like a bucket on the side here that I save things like eggshells, coffee grounds, vegetable peelings, just whatever, can go into seeds. So make sure you don't put seeds in there because, you don't want your compost to be growing things. Okay, so 2 eggs. We are going to put our oil in here. Okay, and then we're going to put just a little bit, like I said, 2 tablespoons of water in here. But just not a lot. All right, and then we're going to put a pinch of salt. See, I just measure this kind of with my hand. You guys can see, like in the crevice of my hand here, that's about a pinch of salt. Not a lot. All right, we're going to take a fork, and we're just going to start mixing this right here in the middle, grabbing a little bit of the flour from the sides, incorporating that in. Now I'm just going to kind of dust it from the top, and incorporate that in. It's a great time to put on a little bit of music, although I won't do that because we're cooking, but if you're at home, you can put on a little bit of music, just have a little bit of fun, right? Just keep adding a little bit of flour to it. Keep going. See how I just keep grabbing more flour from the sides. It keeps just getting a bigger and bigger well, right? Almost till you have like this paste. See how that's just forming this kind of like really goopy paste? At this point, you can use your hands. You can use a bread scraper, which I do have. Either way, but you want it to be the kind of this goopy. Okay, see how it's kind of just this sticky right here. At this point, I'm going to just put a little flour on my fork to get that off. And move that over. And underneath, we're colliding all that flour on top of our egg mixture, and I'm just moving that in now. Folding that in. Still not incorporating all the flour at once. You might not need all of this, right? So don't just try to shove all that flour in. You can cover it, but don't push it all in because it might not take all of it. Funny thing when you're baking, you want to make sure. I'm going to move this on the side. See, this doesn't. And we're just going to roll this. I guess I should have taken off my ring. All right. This is not going to be like bread flour or bread. And that didn't even take all that flour. See how, right? I mean, if you add a little bit more water or olive oil in the beginning, it probably will take all that flour. So I only, added like a couple teaspoons of water. You could add a fourth of a cup of water to it, but we're just going to go with this. This is why I always add a little bit of flour at a time. And then I can take away these pieces, kind of dust it, and add a little bit as we go. Now, this is not like bread per se, where you want it to be super soft. You kind of almost want a firm, solid dough, because it's going to be pasta, not bread. With bread, it's almost like you want a soft ball when you're kneading it. You know, something real soft. This is going to be more of, as you can see, I'm pushing down pretty hard. So it's a lot firmer, okay? But you don't want too much flour. If you have too much flour, then it will just kind of break apart into pieces. It's always harder to add water afterwards. You don't want to really do that. That's why you add flour a little bit at a time. And you're just going to keep working this and making sure you get that gluten going. This is a great workout. If you're upset or you want to just work out your arms or whatever you want to do, boy, this is a good thing to do. All right. Well, it's nice, firm, pliable still, but firm dough. That. You want to be able to push in, if you guys can see that, and how it will just come back up if you push, and how it will come back up when you know that you've got a really nice dough there. Okay. Another good reason to have the sifter out is because I'm going to use this when we're rolling out this dough, but I don't want those particles in here. Another good reason for a bread knife or a pastry scraper is, look at that, you can just get it right off the table. Okay, I'm going to wrap this in plastic, and you need to let this sit for about an hour. Give me just 1 minute so I can wrap this in plastic. But don't worry, I've got another ball dough ready that I already made earlier. And I will make this a little bit later for when my husband gets home from work. And you can just pop it right into the fridge. If you're going to use this and you're not going to make extra dough, then you can just leave it on the counter for an hour, okay? But if you want to, you can absolutely put this in the fridge for later. You can do the same thing with your ravioli. You can put it in the fridge, and you can even freeze this after we're done. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm going to move that out of the side and kind of clean up my area here. We'll need another fork. All right. Any flour that you don't use can go right into the compost as well bucket. And like I said, I have another dough ready to go that's already been in the fridge for an hour or more. It doesn't have to be an hour exactly. It could be an hour, hour and a half. It could be all day long. It's up to you. But whenever you're ready, pull it out and let it sit on the counter for about 10 minutes or so. Okay, behind me, I have, you're going to see that I'm going to start water here in a few minutes for boiling, and then whatever sauce you want to make. I do make my own, everyone, marinara, and I can my own and make my own, so I'm going to be cooking this with marinara today. You can use whatever sauce my husband likes when I make homemade Alfredo. You can use a pesto sauce, whatever sauce you want to do, olive oil and garlic. It's just really up to you, but I'm just going to use a marinara that I make. All right. So here we go. Take that out of our plastic. And voila. So I'm going to lightly flour our surface. So we see that. I am going to cut this right in half because we have a lower sheet and a top sheet for ravioli. Okay. And the fancy tools that I might be using for that today, we have a rolling pin, we have a knife, a fork, and I have this little pastry brush. If you do not have this, I'm going to show you how to use your finger. Okay, so really simple tools that most people probably were like, what? I don't, and that's what I think some of our holdup is we just don't think that we can actually create this stuff at home. But yes, you can. All right, so the thing about ravioli is you don't want to you're not making a pie, so you don't need a whole surface. You want long sheets. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to roll this out. See how I'm just making this really long sheet. And it's really simple, and you want it to be thin, probably thin enough to see your hand through, but not super thin, but just enough to have where you can see the shadow of your hand below it. And voila. Move that one over. Doesn't take hardly any time at all. In fact, I think I'm going to get our water going, so it's starting to boil. We'll turn our water on high, just a pot of water. Add a little salt to it. That's all you need to put in the water. Okay, we're going to do this with our second one. Just scoop that over. Just rolling it way out, nice and thin. Voila, really super easy. You have the two right here now. I'm just going to make sure. Sorry about the camera, guys, everyone. Sorry, let me just put that back. My rolling pin hit it. Sorry, everyone. Hope I didn't make you sick. Just going to make sure these are nice and rolled out. That was my biggest problem. So we'll move that over. Okay. That's why I'm knocking everything over. I don't have enough room here with everything on here. Beautiful. Beautiful. And like you see, everybody can see my hand. Hopefully you can see my hand underneath here. That's what I'm talking about when I say thin. Okay. So what's going to go in here? Now, this is where we come with our fillings. Today we're going to make a cheese one. So this is where you can get creative, everyone. Maybe you don't like certain cheeses. Ricotta is pretty much a must. It kind of helps with our binding. So we have ricotta, mozzarella, parmesan. Sometimes you could put other cheeses in here if you want to too. You can put meats in here if you want to too. My husband likes meat, so I'm making him one with some Italian sausage and cheese later. This one is just your basic. And this is where I mean that you don't have to be exact on this. I said about a cup of ricotta, but if you just want to make a little bit more, I just buy this, let's see, it's 32 ounces. I'm probably going to take half of this. I guess I need a spoon. Right, half of this, so maybe it's about a cup, maybe a cup and a half of ricotta. But you can kind of guess. Maybe ricotta is not your thing. That's why I put at least you need a cup of ricotta in there in the recipe below. Okay. I have way more mozzarella than I needed, but I just wanted you to know that's because I grated it. And that's about a cup of that, right? And I'm just going to use my hand and kind of guess on that. See, you don't have to be too exact here, everyone. I don't want you to freak out like, oh, she used more than that. I mean, it's okay. It's okay if you use a little bit more, a little bit less, so you have leftover cheese. I mean, right? but it's better to have a little bit more than not have enough. And then Parmesan. About half a cup of Parmesan. So I'm just so old school and measure things by my hands, everyone. That is about half a cup. Okay. You can absolutely measure these out as well. Not going to hurt you to do that. That's why I put the amounts there. Okay. But this is really kind of a, it's your thing. If you wanted to add meat to this, you could. If you wanted to add vegetables, to this, you could. I definitely would recommend like spinach. Cook your spinach, maybe blanch it. Blanch it means to kind of like cook it real fast so that it's something that can bind and drain the water from it. You could use fresh spinach, but make sure you cut up in like a fine julienne or, diced. I'm going to put some Italian seasoning in here. Again, that's about 2 tablespoons. Just measuring in my hand, everyone. That's about 2 tablespoons. Voila. You can use fresh herbs. Love it. I grow mine and dry them. That's why I have these leftover containers that I save so that I can fill them up after I dry them. And we'll have to have a show on drying your herbs because my youth really enjoyed doing that and seeing that. Okay. So we have ricotta, mozzarella, Parmesan, and Italian seasoning in here. You can just start mixing that up together in the bowl. And the only thing that we're missing in here is we're going to add an egg. The egg also helps bind it. So voila, save that for our compost. The egg will help bind the cheeses together. If you want to make a cheese, and one of these days I'll have to show you how to make a butternut squash sauce. That would be really great with this as well. You could show off using that wonderful honey we have. But truly, voila, that's all there is to it. Just mix those ingredients together. I guess I should have used the spoon because we are going to need this fork. A fork. And I keep forgetting that we're going to use a fork. Okay, so what do we do now? We've got our pasta rolled out. I am just going to make sure. I'm going to move this just for 1 second. Make sure. Sometimes it will shrink back up because it's been sitting for a second. So you can just roll that right back out. Just to make sure. Okay. I'm going to move this extra cheese over. And my rolling pin over. And what you're going to do is you're going to take about a teaspoon of your filling and put it down the sides with about 1 inch apart. Okay. Inch apart from each. Well, yeah, maybe if that, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. But you want a good spacing between it, but about 1 inch between them. Okay. That's a good guess. You just go down 1 sheet of pasta. You don't want it too full, or see, I think this one's a little too full, or it just will ooze out. So don't get too heavy-handed with these. Okay. And see, I already have my filling for the next round that I made earlier that will go into the fridge. So it's okay if we made a little extra filling. You can always put that in the fridge, save it for another meal, make some more ravioli later, take some to your friends, something like that. Right, you can even freeze this ravioli, which we're going to talk about here too. In just a few minutes here. So we're just going down the edge. Need one for the end. All right. We'll move the bowl out of our way. Okay. The reason I had extra water before is because we have to pretty much like activate this, what we call glue. And you're like, what in the world, glue? Where you can just use your fingers and it's just water. Where you're literally putting water through all the way around your pasta, around the filling. And that will help seal your top and your bottom layer. So you could do that with with a fork, or you could do it with one of these little pastry brushes, which I love. You can find these even at the dollar stores. And I just go around making sure it's nice and wet. That's going to help seal our pasta. Nice and wet. Okay. You don't want to flood here, but you definitely want it water all around each one of these sections. Help clean up these areas as well. That's why one of the other reasons I love brushes like this. You can kind of clean up your sections. And we have that. All right, so I'm also going to put a little bit of water on this side. See how we go? And we're going to just put one over the other. Just literally lay them right over each other. Stretch it out if you need to. Hopefully everybody can see this all right. And you're going to press down. Just make sure that your ends pieces are all in here. All right. And then kind of press down. Right. Where are our little pasta shapes? Just using your hand, everyone. See the air that's coming up? We want to make sure we get rid of that. And last one. All right. I got a little air bubble I got to let out. There we go. Go ahead and push down. A little air. That's okay. Just let it release out the sides. Okay. So down the middle. Get those air. Okay, so now we have our pasta. And the easiest thing is you just can take a knife. Cut out your pasta. Oh, my dog's dreaming. Maybe she's dreaming about eating pasta. Isn't that funny? That would not surprise me. All right, so you can cut down the middle or cut down the sides, right? You just cut down the middle. If they're not perfect, that's okay, right? You can just take out a knife and just cut them more to make it a little bit more square if you want to do that, right? You want them really pretty presentation, just use a knife. Oh, maybe too much, a little water. Okay. I hear water boiling. I'm glad I already turned it on. Just separating these. This is why we need a fork. We're going to seal these up here even more, but I'm just separating these. I've got a little bit too much water going on. Careful with that. But we can fix them. if that happens. Okay, and we're going to show you how to do that. I love it when my students make mistakes too. You'll probably think that's a little crazy, but you know what? Because when you make a mistake, you always learn how to fix it. And so don't be worried. If you feel like you have messed it up, it's okay. It can always be fixed. All right. So like this one here is a prime example. Sometimes the pasta is a little long or obliterated, so we can just cut off the extra on the sides. Just use a knife. All right, so what do we need a fork for? They have pasta rollers and rollers that can actually do this. It's kind of like a little wheel. But you know what you can use? You can just use a fork going around the sides. I'm going to get rid of the rolling pin, everyone. Sorry. Just going around the sides. If some oozes out a little bit, don't worry about it. We are just going to make sure that we go around each one of these, just sealing our sides. I haven't made these in a while. My kids get excited that I am doing this with you guys because then they get to try these things or have these things again. That one's just got a little bit gross. Let's see how you just take the excess off. The cheese oozes out, just scrape it away. See? Just scrape it away. When you go to boil these, sorry, I'm running out of a little rhythm here. When you go to boil these, it only take about 4 minutes maybe. This is really easy to cook, okay? So you want to make sure that you have these all ready. You can put these in the refrigerator or you can put them in a freezer. Before you put them in the freezer, though, don't just all lump them together. Put them on a sheet tray, some kind of, flat plate, something to make sure that you have, so they don't stay together or stick together, right? These aren't as pretty as I'd like them to be, but that's okay. I guess I got a little too generous with the cheese filling. That's what I mean about making sure that you don't put too much cheese filling in there, like I did. But you can just, like I said, scrape that away. These only take about 4 minutes, maybe, to boil because they're fresh pasta. In your water, my water's already going. Just go around every side. Pressing down so that these seal together. It's kind of close to the camera. We might have to fix that one here in a minute. I hope everyone's having a beautiful Sunday. I know it sure is beautiful where I'm at. The weather is great. Nice and sunny yesterday, not so much. Still nice weather, but it was nice and rainy. I didn't have to water the garden. My garden, I had a freeze a few weeks back, and all that wonderful work I just did killed almost all my tomatoes that were outside, at least. The ones in the greenhouse, the second round, they are doing well. I will show everybody pictures of that next week. I definitely had a problem with the garden and them freezing, so that was a little bit of a setback. It made me a little sad. All right, So if you have a little extra cheese, like I said, you can just cut that off, move that away. If it oozes out, so you have this pile of disaster over here. Just clean them up that way. All right. All right. Voila. It may look a little gross. Sorry that it's not so pretty, but hey, it's going to be phenomenal. So now what we need is a spatula. Excuse me, everyone, while I grab a spatula here. And I have water boiling over here, and I'm going to literally just put them in right to the water. Try real hard not to get too much water on here because that's lost, it's quite sticky. Should have not used so much water, but hey, it's all right. They're still working out pretty well. They're sealed, so that's a good thing. They might not be the most perfect of shapes because I had too much water on here on my actual surface, that I'm working on. They're going right in here anyway. They're going to cook for about, like I said, 4 minutes. And while that's cooking, I'm going to warm up some marinara. And voila. Voila. Like I said, I make my own marinara, so I am just going to use about half of this. Look at that. They're looking phenomenal. And I'll show you here in a minute. All right. We'll be going over canning here one of these weeks. Can't wait to show you that. That's a lot of fun. I'm just going to warm up our marinara. Save the rest for tonight for my husband's dinner. And I'm just back here checking on our pasta. Look at that. So everyone can see. I mean, right? It goes really fast. Not quite done, but it's showing you that it may not be the prettiest thing. Sorry, everyone. I did, I made a mistake by adding too much water, but they might not be the prettiest things, but they are sealed. They are phenomenal. They only have like maybe another minute or so to go. And they are going to be ready to go right into the pasta and to be eaten. Just that simple. So I'm saving this stuff for the compost bucket. Clean up my mess here a little bit. I want to show everyone what they look like when they're done. All right, now we're all cleaned up. Plate for plating. Oh, they always rise to the top. That is exactly what you want. You know that they're done. And you're going to strain them. think my, wow. Looking for a strainer, sorry. That's what happens when you ask your daughter to help you with dishes. Or your kids help you with dishes. Sometimes they don't end up in the same area. I don't know if you guys have that at home, but I definitely have that here. But she does it. Can't complain because she does it, and she does it without griping. I just might not be able to have them in the same location. Beautiful. Once these strain, which I have these all strained and in here, all beautiful, we can go right into the sauce, which is heated up nicely. So everybody can see, they go right into the sauce. You can cook it this way, put them right onto the plate. You could toss them in the sauce. Absolutely beautiful. We're just going to do this. Sorry, I get quiet, everyone. You have this beautiful sort of sauce here. Look at that. Now, you can finish this off with a little bit of Parmesan. If you want to put a little bit of mozzarella, just sprinkling it a little bit on top. Again, it's your choice. You can finish this off with some fresh basil. It would be wonderful. Love cheese. But I like to just finish this off with a little bit of cheese. Hopefully everybody can see this. Oops, from my house to yours. This is how we do it. I hope that you don't have as much trouble as I did and do it right. Let me just change my camera so everybody can see. Right, we've got this wonderful, beautiful homemade ravioli. Practice makes perfect, everyone. You know, I have problems too, as you can see, but it came out absolutely wonderful in the end, and it's going to taste phenomenal. And it's not that hard to fix it right away, right? Or to, thank you. Just checking in your comments. Thank you so much, right? I mean, it's a practice. And I haven't made this in a long time. I haven't made homemade pasta in a while. I tried to still, even though I can eat flour, I try to still stay away from flour as much as possible. My husband is not a fan of flour products, so we don't eat that often. But it is absolutely phenomenal. You're just going to enjoy it, the freshness of it, the fresh pasta, the fresh, if you use fresh herbs in it. It's just really wonderful. Something quick that you can do as well. It takes maybe an hour and a half to do all this together, and that's with letting the dough rest. So I'm going to check and see if anybody has any questions here for me. And I'm not seeing anything. If you guys want to, again, you can put it in the comments. You can reach out, right, and ask some questions. But this is not something that's hard to do. I hope that you guys enjoy that. I hope that you guys try it. Let me know. That would be fun to see. Put that in the comments if you tried it. Did it work out for you? How did it taste? And it's something that we can all do. So I hope that I've taught you something today that you enjoy. And again, you can always freeze this too. You can make them. I would put them on a sheet pan. Maybe put some parchment paper on the sheet pan. Lay them all out and freeze them first. And then you could put them in baggies together once they're frozen and save them for a different time. You can put them in the fridge and let them sit in the fridge until you're ready to cook them as well. You don't have to cook them immediately like I did. And you can let them do that way and then cook them whenever you're going to have dinner later that night. Or you can cook them right away. That is your choice. So I hope you enjoy. It's been a really wonderful day to be with you all. And I love doing this. Next week, again, we're going to be going over our gardening, showing you what that's like, how things have been growing. We're also going to be going over, I'll show you the compost and how that has been changing and turning and getting really beautifully darker and darker as we add things to it. So I'm super excited about that. And then I will probably cooking you something. I've been thinking a lot about herbs and how when I pick them and would dry them, I know that's going to come up when I got plenty of herbs to show you how to pick them, how to dry them, how to keep those stored and fresh. And also, don't forget, I have canning. I don't know exactly which one I'm going to do next week. I haven't thought maybe, it's kind of a little too early for canning since we're in the growing season, but I definitely wanted to have a check in with gardens. My husband ordered some new things that we're going to be trying out as well that I'll be showing you with that, right? So I thank you guys for coming and watching me. Don't forget to please rumble, like, thumbs up, whatever it is on your stream. Please like, follow, and share our streams. We love bringing these services to you from our houses to yours, whether it's news or solutions or community or, it's just such a pleasure to be there and to be there for our nation and our families. And I know it's my pleasure to do that, not only to have these shows, but to also have a school that I can help out our families as well. So, super shout out to our wonderful producers again. Thank you so much for making such a wonderful family to belong to. So, help them out, everyone. Buy them a coffee, right? If you want to help us out and sponsor a student, even if it's just any way you can, I would really, well, I know they would appreciate it. And I will say that, for them, they will absolutely appreciate it because we're all going through hard times, right? And anything that you could do to help our platform or the school, I honestly, really, truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's really a gift to be here with you, not only on Friday nights, but Sundays. But don't forget, Scott has an amazing show where he brings you a lot of what's going on, the daily news that's going on, keeps you up to date with all of that. That's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Bernie Flowers on Tuesdays now. And we have Tamara, I think McKay is her name. She's brand new, just her first show last Thursday. To make sure you're checking her out as well. And then Scott and Amanda have around the family table on 7 p.m. on Saturdays. And you guys will definitely see me Friday nights, 7 p.m. And you'll also see me Sundays at 12. You can find me on social medias under Lady Hamilton Art, or you can also, and please also find Hamilton Liberty Academy. And then you can also find our wonderful producer under Liberty Media or Liberty Arise Media or Scott Adam. Okay, so please help us out. Share this, right? We are very, very grateful for our followers and our viewers. And we appreciate it more than you can imagine. So as I say goodbye today, I have a wonderful, wonderful song. It's one of my favorites. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Andra Day, but she sings a song called I'll Rise Up. So whenever I'm feeling bad, or a lot of times when I'm painting, I will listen to that song. It is such a beautiful song, but I have found a version where an elementary school has sung this song, and it just absolutely melts my heart. And it's really done well. So as we leave today, again, a huge thank you to everyone for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday and Sunday, right? Please, again, make sure that you follow and share our platform. We sure do appreciate you. I am going to load that up right now. I hope you have the most blessed Sunday. I hope that your family and loved ones, and all, don't forget to put God heart, you know, everyone. Come on, there we go. There we go. Okay, maybe. I'm just making sure it loads up. Sometimes it doesn't, and let's get that on there. There we go. All right, everyone, have the most beautiful Sunday. And this was one of my favorite songs, and these children just knocked it out of the park. So I will see you guys everyone next week. Happy Sunday.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see we gon' walk it out and move mountains. Our eyes like the day, our eyes unafraid. Again. Our eyes like the day, our eyes unafraid, and I'll do it 1,000 times again for you, for you. And it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll bring the world to its feet. Ooh, mountains, bring it to its feet. Ooh, mountains. Our eyes of the day, our eyes unafraid. They'll do it 1,000 times again. And for you, for you, for you. We have each other, and we will rise, and we'll rise Our rise of the day, our rise up. Inspire the air. I will rise. We rise. I will rise. We will rise. I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. We'll do it 1,000. Yeah. I like the way.
As you can see, brings me to tears. Have the most Sunday, everyone. Be blessed. My heart is with you. My prayers are for you. And I'll see you guys next week.